The fourth method of homeschooling we're going to talk about today is the unit study. This appeals to families that have a lot of kids close in age or that want to study, one or two topics to a great depth because, and I'll just give an example here in the video, but essentially instead of teaching, kid one about, he's learning about the American West and kid two is learning in a different grade level about, ancient Greece and your other kids are learning about something totally different. Instead, we're all going to learn about ancient Greece together. And so for my family, I remember one year, my mom, now I have 10 siblings, all of us did this together. We all learned about ancient Egypt, and unbeknownst to us, there was a traveling exhibit of Tutankhamun's, some of the artifacts from his tomb were coming to our area. So we didn't know this. We studied Egypt for months. And then all of a sudden, mom's like, surprise, we're going to have a homeschool day with a bunch of our friends. We're going to come over and we're all going to go get to see, some of these traveling exhibits. So that would be a unit study where all the kids are learning about a certain subject to a deeper, a different grade level based on their age. Now I mentioned, I'm not really sure where the good and the beautiful falls. They fall into their history and their sciences. Those are unit studies where different grade levels get a different book to study the same topic to some depth. This can be very interest-led. So if you've got a house full of boys, you can do a unit study on sharks, and then a unit study on dinosaurs, and then a unit study on, on cowboys. And you can study those things because that's what they're interested in right now. You can study it to higher levels of difficulty as they get older, and kind of, break off. The older kids have to do written reports, and younger kids have to just act out a cowboy show, which they're already doing anyway. So that would be a unit study. Those obviously only work for certain subjects. You can't do a unit study in math because the concept of addition, you can only teach the concept of addition and then all the material has to be broken out into different grade levels. Math and grammar both are really difficult to make unit studies. And so usually you'll find unit studies for history, science, subjects like that. And you'll also hear, and again, homeschoolers love to mix things up. So you'll see people mixing a unit study method with a Charlotte Mason living books. So they'll do and if you catch the other videos, we've talked about some of these Charlotte Mason methods. They'll do a living book unit study where everyone's learning about plants or bugs, and they'll gather a collection of different books for different reading levels. Mom will read one out loud to all the kids at once, and then they go and they study the other books at their own pace, at their own level, on their own. And so that's a unit study where you're looking for mom not running around teaching 20 subjects frazzled out of her mind, and more family time, shared learning time, and you can pick these topics. There are whole companies that exist just to pick a topic. You can go on Etsy, you can go anywhere and find unit studies made by other homeschool moms. Oh, you want to drill down on, composers of the 1800s? There's a unit study for that. You want to drill down on artists of the 1500s? There's a unit study for that. So that's the unit study method.